There is news about the crash of a FOC standard LCA Tejas. The aircraft was flying to participate in the Bharat Shakti exercise and crashed midway. The best part is that the pilot ejected on time and is reported to be safe. Had the fighter jet not been manufactured indigenously, one would have waited for the court of inquiry report to come out before making any opinion. Since the fighter jet is indigenous, no one is waiting for the court of inquiry and are questioning the design of the aircraft. LCA Tejas is operating for the last 23 years and not a single crash has been reported earlier. This is the first crash of LCA Tejas. Seeing the photographs of the crash, one can make out that the aircraft was quite stable. When we talk about machines, malfunctioning can happen at any time, and the same fact is considered even while manufacturing it. Automatic recovery strategies have been inbuilt at the manufacturing stage of the fighter jet. This means that in case the aircraft loses its control while flying, then the automatic recovery strategies take over the control of the fighter jet and hand it over to the pilot after stabilizing the jet. An important thing to notice here is that even after the pilot ejected from the aircraft, the jet could be seen gliding in a stable manner. The sad part is that no one is talking about these facts. Rather, the critics seem to have been waiting for over 2 decades to talk about its so-called faulty design. As we have mentioned earlier, had the aircraft been imported, critics would have waited for the court of inquiry before passing their judgment. But the very fact that it is an indigenous machinery, fault finding in its design seems to be the uppermost in people's mind. The safety standards maintained by LCA Tejas over the past 2 decades beats the best in business the world over. Every single aircraft post-development and induction into the armed forces has crashed in the past. There is yet another theory doing the rounds about the failure of the jet's hydraulics. But if one looks at the photographs of the jet, its landing gears are deployed fly-by-wire, which is generally accepted term for those flight control systems which use computers to process the flight control inputs made by the pilot or autopilot and send corresponding electrical signals to the flight control surface actuators. And recovery mechanisms have performed well, which means that the hydraulics seem to be pretty much in active mode and most likely the fighter jet was getting ready for landing. Further, the altitude at which the aircraft was flying makes it clear that it was approaching for landing, as the aircraft can be seen flying at low altitude. The most important part is that the pilot ejected safely and no one has got injured in the crash. At this point in time, there is an important action item for all our viewers, which is that this is a narrative warfare and we need to counter any kind of misinformation about the aircraft. Otherwise, repetition of false information will eventually lead one to believe it. One needs to wait for the court of inquiry to make the air clear about the reasons for the crash. Jai Hind.